Okay, so now let's discuss the SSM Session Manager feature of Systems Manager. So this allows you to start a secure shell on your EC2 instances and on-premises servers without having SSH access or the need for bastion hosts or any SSH keys. That means that the port 22 on your EC2 instances is going to be closed because there is going to be no need to do SSH to establish a secure shell onto your EC2 instance. That means better security. So how does that work? Well, the EC2 instance that we're going to show you in a second has an SSM agent, and that agent is connected to the Session Manager service. And so that means that our users can access through the Session Manager service the EC2 instance and execute some commands on it. This has support for Linux, macOS, and Windows, and we can send log data to Amazon S3 or CloudWatch Logs to make it super secure. I think it'll make a lot more sense when we do the hands-on, so let's do it. So let's have a look at the SSM Session Manager service. But first, we need to launch an EC2 instance. So let's launch an instance right now. And I will scroll down. We will choose Amazon Linux 2, AMI, T2 Micro. We will not use any key pair. And then I will disable SSH traffic. So as you can see, my EC2 instance will have a security group that allows nothing. No HTTP, no HTTPS, no SSH. Yet we will be able to use an SSM Session Manager shell. So what I need to do actually is to attach an IAM instance profile to my instance to allow it to talk to the SSM service. So I have a few right here, but I'm going to create a new one just to show you the process. So click on Create a new IAM role profile. Then let's create a role for a service on AWS. Would it be Amazon EC2? Click on Next. Then for permissions, we're going to filter for SSM, and we will choose the Amazon SSM Managed Instance Core. So let's select this and click on Next. And then I will call it Demo EC2 Role for SSM, which allows the EC2 instance to use this policy to talk to the SSM service. So this is necessary for my instance to be managed by the SSM service, and so we can use the SSM Session Manager feature. So now that this role is created, we're going to refresh here, and we're going to look for this Demo EC2 role for SSM. Perfect. So let's go ahead and now create and launch our instance, which is now launched. And it's going to boot. And so the thing I have to check now is the SSM service. So let's go into Systems Manager. And on the left-hand side, you're going to look for Fleet Manager. And Fleet Manager is a service where all the EC2 instances that are registered with SSM will appear here. So they're called managed nodes. And as you can see right now, we don't have any managed nodes, but we need to wait for the EC2 instance to boot up, and then it will appear right here. Okay, so I just refreshed, and as you can see, there's one instance, it's running. We can see the SSM agent is online. We can see the platform, the operating system, Amazon Linux 2, the SSM agent version, and then links to the EC2 instance if we wanted to. Okay, so as soon as our instance is under Fleet Manager, that means that we're ready to run a secure shell against it. So to do so, I will scroll down and I will look for Session Manager. Now, Session Manager is a way for us to access our Linux instances and Windows instances. So let's start a session. And as you can see here, okay, my EC2 instance under the security group does not have any inbound role. Okay, so 0 inbound roles in here. So let's start a session on this EC2 instance and start it. And the idea is that we're going to get a secure shell, as you'll see in a second. Here we go. We have a secure shell. And I didn't need to have SSH access. So I can do ping google.com. And this command is going to work, obviously. And if I do host to get the host name, so host name, we can see that this is IP 172.31.148, which is exactly corresponding to, and if we go into networking, the private IP address of my instance. So that means that using the SSM secure shell, we're able to have indeed a secure shell directly from AWS without having SSH security keys and SSH access. So to summarize, we have 3 ways of accessing our EC2 instance. Number 1 is to open the port 22 and then use SSH keys and with a terminal to do the SSH command. Number 2 is to use EC2 Instance Connect, and that didn't require to get SSH keys because they will be temporarily uploaded onto the Amazon EC2 instance if we need to. So that was number 2, but this required still the port 22 to be opened on our EC2 instance to have access with using EC2 Instance Connect. And then we've explored the third option, which is Session Manager. So we need to make sure that we had an EC2 instance with Amazon Linux 2 and make sure that this EC2 instance had an IAM role. And this IAM role, okay, as you can see under security, had an IAM role. And this IAM role allowed access from the EC2 instance to Systems Manager. And this is what allowed us to get the secure shell running. So that's it for this lecture. We can terminate this session. And the cool thing is that the session history will be saved in terms of logs. So we can see the session history right here. So this is awesome. And to finish, just take your instance and terminate it. That's it. I hope you like this lecture, and I will see you in the next lecture.